Why did you come to this country?
My husband, who works for an international organization, he got posted to DC, and so I moved with him to this country.
How has your journey been since you moved to this country?
It has been stressful, and it also has been a huge learning experience. Uh, Initially, when I moved here, you suddenly come to this country and you not only lose or leave behind your family, your friends, your career, but you also kind of suddenly realize that you don't exist as an entity, because you are on a visa, you are dependent on your husband, and you exist because in this country because of him. Otherwise you don't have any kind of presence, any kind of existence. It's a scary thought. uh, at that time your relationship with your spouse is really it's challenged, because what happens if something goes wrong? Where am I? Where does that leave me? So those kind of feelings were not easy to get through. So the experience has been very stressful, but it has also been a huge learning experience, because you come to this country and you think, oh, I know English, and then you realize, no, you don't. It's a different English out here. They speak a different vocabulary. They have different meanings to word. The nuances are different. Their way of joking is different. Their humor is different. Sometimes you use words that are very common when you use back in India, but here it means something totally different, or something they don't even understand. I remember someone once talking of someone expired. Like, we use it very often in India to mean someone who passed away, and here expired means what? Your milk expired. Like, how can a human being expire? So even to understand those, it takes a lot of time.
What have your struggles been?
Like I was telling you, it is not easy to accept that you do not exist as a person out here. You are just a number which came in with another person. So that psychologically is very, very demeaning. It takes a huge toll on you. And the other thing which I really struggled with is giving up on my profession, because what happens in India, as you grow up, you grow your own network around you. You are already born into a network. Your parents know someone, your friends know someone. So when you are growing professionally, there's always a kind of net under you, and you do not even know the existence of that net till you come outside of your country and realize that you have no help here. You are alone, and no matter what you were back in your country, how far ahead you were in your career, when you come here, it does not make any difference. You just start from scratch. Your experiences, your hierarchy in your company, nothing matters. You are just starting from scratch. In fact, your degrees also don't matter out here. So anything you try to do, you need to either go and redo your degrees, or you get a new license, or do this, that. So those have been very, very stressful, even to understand those.
How did you cope?
So one of the first thing I realized, I was going down a vicious circle, like spiraling down when I came here initially, and suddenly all these things hit me. And then you talk to people, you realize no one is really understanding what you're going through, and it makes your situation worse. You think, like, am I crazy? Like, why what is happening? So then I realized I need to be surrounded by people who actually are going through the same process that I'm going through. So my husband organization had a family network. I went and joined them. They had a lot of projects going on, because they were all spouses who have traveled from different countries in the world, who were also equally lost like me in a new country. So they used to do a lot of voluntary services, like different projects, and I started working with them. Like, for example, there was one project where we used to go and collect from books and teaching materials from different schools, the old ones which they have stopped using, and send them to all the developing nations in the world, to rural places, tiny villages where they don't have enough teaching materials and books. Then there was another project where we wanted to fund women from developing nations who were economically not able to sponsor their doctoral and postdoctoral degrees. So we kind of started doing different fundraising activities to fund these women. So those things, first of all, kind of gave me a purpose every day. Like, you dress up, kind of go to office, do the job. They also kind of surrounded me with people who were going through the same things that I was going through. So when I was depressed, they understood why I was depressed, and they did not talk me down. They actually held my hands at that time. It was not easy, even like how it was in India. Like, people don't really believe in a lot of volunteering services. Not the middle class anywhere. People are struggling to make the ends meet. So when I spoke to my friends or family back in India, like, what, you're volunteering? Why don't you go and do something which is like worthwhile? I'm like, this is worthwhile. This is saving my life. But anyway, those were things I could not even explain to people. The other thing that I did was something which I knew I could never do in India, and which I always wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to sculpt, and that was totally discouraged when I ever expressed that kind of idea back home. So here what I did was that I went and joined the community college, and I joined sculpting classes. I learned how to sculpt wood, I learned how to sculpt clay and other medium. That really, really helped me, because first of all, I was doing something I always wanted to do, which I could never dream of doing before. And I started meeting local people, understanding how things work out here. Very this was the time I started kind of getting into that the society out here. And the best part is when you whack wood with all your strength, it takes all the frustrations out of you. So it kind of calmed me down.
What was the breakthrough?
You mean professionally?
Yeah.
So that was a very, very funny story. We had started looking for, I was constantly looking out for jobs, and, trying to find something in my line of work. In fact, when I first started working for the family network, someone from the organization really liked the way I presented my projects. So she told me, why don't you work in my department? And it was totally different from something I have been doing. And I'm like, and it was also a very basic beginner's position. So I'm like, no, I think I'll wait it out. I want to find something in the line of my work, and also something which is, kind of nearer to what I have, hierarchy wise, what was nearer to what I have been doing. So I didn't take it, and then nothing would work out. Like, I didn't know anyone. Everything works on network out here. No one knew me. No one could vouch for me. So nothing was really working out. So I was so frustrated. I was I was ready to try. Like, by the end of 4 or 5 years, I'm like, I'm ready to do anything. And I started actually planning businesses and working on business plans and stuff like that. So in the meantime, we started looking for a house to buy, And at that time, I met an amazing real estate agent who told, like after meeting me a few times, she said, "You know what? You're looking for a job. You're looking to do a business. Why don't you just get a license and become a real estate agent?" I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, let me give it a shot. So that was my break, and I can't thank her enough for even suggesting that to me.
How has that journey been?
It has been amazing. It has been amazing in a way that I have come to know about so many different cultures, so many different nations, different type of people. I was blessed to be, you know, I mean, like we were living in a place which is in Maryland, right off the border of DC. So it's a very cosmopolitan and international area, because there are people who are working in World Bank, there are people working in for the various foreign governments out there, people from working for NIH. So you have all this scientists and financial officers and government officers from different parts of the world who are coming and living in DC, and they're all looking for a home to buy. So you meet all these people, they bring amazing perspective, they bring amazing stories. Uh, they all speak a different English, different levels of humor. It has been an amazing journey. Like you see the world living in one place. I loved it. That was an amazing experience. It was also a very uh, strenuous experience. I was working literally 24/7. Like there was no holiday ever. But I think it was worth. Those few years that I worked as a real estate agent was really worth it. And then something amazing happened. So all these years when I was going through depressions and ups and downs, and then eventually I started working as a real estate agent, there was something in me, some kind of stubbornness in me, that one fine day I wanted to go back to the profession that I had left behind. Now, while in India, I was working for the securities regulator out there. Obviously, I cannot do the same job out here because I'm not a citizen of the country. But I'm like, okay, that had to do with compliance, and I want to go back to compliance one fine day. And that was always at the back of my mind, but I didn't know how. But I'm like, no, one fine day I have to go back. So there was this kind of stubbornness in me and dream in me to do it. So I kept on looking on the side, and then it just happened that I found this job which kind of brings compliance and real estate together. So all my experiences over the last 20 years now has come to a point of amalgamation where I can use both, not just one. So that has given me enormous joy, enormous peace. Kind of life has come back to a full circle. I finally got back to where I wanted to, where I lost everything. I have now not only regained that back, but I also made use of the last few 6-7 years of experience. I know this does not mean a lot to others, but this little move in my career has kind of given me a strange amount of confidence, strange peace, strange sense of accomplishment, which I don't think even if I had moved to a very high position somewhere in my life, I would have been this happy.
So now that you have come full circle, what's next?
Well, I don't care. I don't mind. I don't mind doing anything now. It took me a long time, many wasted years to realize that you have no control of your life, and you have to take life by the collars, shake it up, and move forward. I wasted a lot of time. I went through a lot of mental tension to get to this point. And every time someone asks me now, like, hey, I'm planning to move to this country, what do you advise? So the first thing I tell them is like, okay, what about your spouse? Are you, like, how many years has he or she been working? Because professionally, he's going to have to start from scratch, or she has to start from scratch. Are you ready for that? Is the other person ready for that? Are you ready to take that toll on your relationship? Because it's a huge toll. It's not going to be easy. It has not been easy for me either. It has been very, very strenuous for both me and my whole family. But but if you can ride that wave, eventually you will come to a place where things will start to make sense. So right now it makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm like, I really don't care now. I'm just here to enjoy life. Big things don't matter a lot for me anymore. So I am ready to just, I don't know, if we move to a different country, I'm ready to do that. If you want to move to a different city, I'm ready to do that. Something new in a career, I'm ready to do that. It's like I just want to enjoy life as it comes and not waste it the way I have wasted before. I'm just ready to fly.